Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever it is, whatever time of day, and wherever you're at. Welcome to Echo Chambered. On this channel, it's going to be honest talk about real issues, trending topics without all the screaming and all the politics. So if that's something you'd be interested in, stay tuned. So, what I've been thinking about lately, it feels like nobody knows how to talk to each other anymore. And I don't mean like a debate, I just mean talk. Like regular conversation, hearing somebody out, letting them finish a thought, not jumping in right away, trying to figure out what side they're on so you can decide if you like them or not. Everything now feels like people are just waiting to hear one sentence or one word, one opinion, and then boom, they already got you figured out. Oh, you're on one of those people? And once that happens, the conversation basically is over before it even starts. So that's a big reason why I wanted to make this channel. I think a lot of people are tired of that. I am. I'm tired of every single topic turning into the same thing, same fight, same outrage, same people yelling, same clips getting passed around. It's the same comments. It's the same talking points. It's like nobody's even talking anymore. Everybody's just repeating the same thing. And that's really where the name came from, Echo Chambered. So that's what it means to me. It means getting stuck at a place where all you hear is your side, your people, your views, your opinions repeated back to you over and over until eventually you stop questioning it. You basically live in it. You get comfortable in it, and then after a while, you don't even realize you're in it. And that's what I think the scary part is. Because most people don't think they're in an echo chamber. They think they're just informed. They think they're paying attention. They think they got it all figured out. But if every person you listen to thinks exactly like you, every page you follow leans the same way, every video you watch tells you the same thing, every headline you click confirms what you already believe, then maybe you're not really learning anything. Maybe you're just getting fed more of what it feels like you already are, like you already want to hear, you know what I mean? Look, I'm not even saying this like I'm above it, because I'm not. I think everybody falls into it. Me, you, everybody, we all fall into that trap. It's easy. It feels good, It feels good to hear people say what you already think. It feels good to feel right, basically. So, it feels good when your side sounds smart and the other one sounds stupid. That's why it works so well. That's why so many people get stuck there and never leave. People get comfortable. And once you get comfortable, you stop being curious. You stop answering questions. You stop listening. You stop trying to understand where everybody else is even coming from. Now it's just like, my side's right, your side's wrong. That's the end of the story. And I don't think that gets us anywhere. Actually, I think that's a huge part of why everything feels so broken right now. Nobody wants to understand anybody. Everybody just wants to win. And if I'm being honest, I think social media made it way worse, because now the loudest people get rewarded the most. The angriest people get the most attention. The most extreme opinions get pushed to the top. The people saying the wildest stuff, the most disrespectful stuff, the most dramatic stuff, they're the ones everybody ends up seeing. And after a while, it starts to feel like that's normal. Like, that's how everybody talks. That's what conversation is now. But I don't think that's true. I think most normal people are actually somewhere in the middle, just trying to make sense of everything. I think most people are not extreme left. They're not extreme right. I mean, I just think most people fall in the middle. They're just trying to make sense of everything. I think most people are just trying to live their lives, take care of their family, go to work, do what they think's right. They're trying to figure out what the truth is somewhere underneath all the noise. But the problem seems to be that the noise it's everywhere. And if you hear it enough, eventually you start thinking in the noise. That's what I think has happened with people today. People are not even reacting to the facts half the time. They're reacting to the version of the story their side handed them. And once that happens, good luck having a real conversation. Because now the facts almost don't even matter. People pick a side first, and then they go looking for whatever supports what they already decided was the truth. It happens all the time. I mean, it happens with every one of us. Something happens in the news, and 5 minutes later, people already know exactly what they think. Like how? You just heard about it. You don't know all the details. You don't know the full story. You probably haven't even heard the other side of it yet. But somehow the opinion is already locked in. Why? Because I think it's got to be because people already know what they're supposed to say. That's what I mean by echo chambered. It's like people are getting handed their opinion before they even think for themselves. And I hate that. I really do. Because I think that's making people less honest, basically. And honestly, less human, too. Because once you reduce everybody down to a label, you stop seeing the person. You stopped asking, why do you think like that? You stopped asking what happened in your life that made you see it that way. You stop asking, am I missing something here? And that question right there, am I missing something here? I think a lot more people need to ask themselves that. Because most of us are missing something. None of us sees the whole picture, not a single person. And the minute somebody thinks they do, they're usually the person I trust the least. If you think you know everything and nobody else knows nothing, I'm not going to basically listen to anything you have to say. I'm way more interested in people who can say, here's what I think, I might not know everything, but this is my opinion on it. Like, they're leaving room for growth. And that feels honest to me. That feels real. That feels like somebody actually trying to understand something instead of just performing for their side. And that's really what I want this channel to be. I don't want to preach. I don't want to act like I got all the answers. Not me trying to recruit people to think exactly like me. That's not what I want. What I want is a place where we can actually slow down and talk through stuff like adults. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at perspective. Look at why people on one side see something one way and why people on the other side see it completely different. Because whether we like it or not, both sides usually have some reason for feeling the way they do. Doesn't mean both sides are always equally right. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you don't understand why people think the way they think, you're never going to be able to have a meaningful conversation with them. You're just going to keep talking past them. And that's what everybody's doing right now. They're talking past each other. They're yelling past each other. They're posting past each other. No one's actually connecting. Nobody's actually trying to get underneath the surface. And I think that's why we get stuck. Because we got so used to reacting that we forget how to think. And it's just, we've gotten so used to defending our side that we forget how to question our side. And yeah, that's a big one, because if you can't question your own side once in a while, then you're not thinking. You're just loyal. And blind loyalty is dangerous no matter where it comes from. I don't care if it's politics, culture, media, whatever. If people can't, like, if they can't say, yeah, I lean this way, but this part right here is wrong, that's the problem. If you can't look at what your side or how you think you view things and realize that there's some fault in your point of view, that's the problem. And it's a big one. And I think a lot of people are scared to do that right now. Because the second you push back on your own side, people start looking at you funny. Like you switched teams or something. Like you betrayed the group. And that's weird. It's weird that people are so locked into teams now that independent thinking almost feels like a rebellion. That shouldn't be weird. That should be the normal. You should be able to agree with one side on one thing, disagree with them on something else, and not have to explain yourself like you're committing a crime. You should be able to say, like, yeah, I get why people feel that way, without everybody assuming you endorse every single thing attached to that side. But right now, people don't leave room for that. Everything's all or nothing. Either you're with us or you're against us. Either you repeat the full script that your side has, or you're suspect. Either you clap at the right line, or somebody thinks you're the enemy. That mindset, it's poison. I mean, it really is, because it kills conversation. And if conversation dies, common ground dies with it. And when common ground dies, all that's left is tension and division, and people feel more like they feel more dug in every day. That's not good for anybody. And when I say common ground, I don't mean like a fake agreement. I don't mean pretending we all think the same. I don't mean softening every issue to the point where nothing matters. That's not what I mean. I just mean finding the part underneath the argument where people still care about something real. Maybe they both care about safety. Maybe they both care about fairness. Maybe they both care about freedom or order or opportunity or accountability, whatever it is. A lot of people are arguing over how to get somewhere, but underneath that, they actually want some of the same things. They don't trust each other enough anymore even to get to that part of the conversation, though. And that's where I think we get in our own way. That's really what the channel's about. Getting out of our own way. Getting out of the emotional reaction long enough to actually hear something. Getting out of the habit of treating every disagreement like it's a fight. Getting out of the mindset that listening means losing, because listening is not losing. And people think it's a weakness. Changing your mind when new information is presented to you is not weakness. It shows maturity. That shows growth. That's what smart people do. Dumb people act like they know everything already. And I'm telling you right now, I have way more respect for somebody who says, like, I need to look into that more, than somebody who has fully formed an angry opinion about everything within 30 seconds. That stuff means something to me. And I think it means something to a lot of people watching too. I think a lot of people are exhausted, not just by politics, but by the whole atmosphere. Everybody seems tense. Everybody's ready to snap. Everybody's so sure. Everybody's got the answer. Everybody's got a villain. Everybody's got somebody to blame. And meanwhile, actual conversation just keeps getting pushed further and further out of the room. That's why I wanted to start here with this as my first video, because before I get into bigger topics, I wanted to explain this channel, how I want it to be, like what this channel actually is and what it isn't. It's not going to be me sitting here pretending I'm neutral about everything. I'm a person. I have opinions, just like everybody else. But I also don't want to be another person getting online just to feed one side and trash the other side because that's what gets attention. I mean, that's the easy thing. That's what everybody is already doing. We don't need more of that. I mean, I think what I want to do is take issues, look at the facts, talk through how different people are saying them, point out where I think, we're getting manipulated, whether it's emotional, how people are being dishonest or just flat out reactionary to everything. And then, ask the real question, like, how do we move forward from here? Because if all we do is pick sides and scream, we're not moving forward. We're just like spinning in a circle. And I think people know that. I think a lot of people can feel that. I think a lot of people are hungry for something a little more grounded, a little more honest, a little less fake, not polished, not rehearsed, just real. That's what I want this to be. I'll probably mess up words when I'm talking. I'll probably stutter over myself, but I'm just trying to talk to you, the audience, so we can have like a conversation, a dialect. I want this to be a place where you can hear something without feeling like somebody's trying to force you into a corner. It needs to be a place where disagreements, they're allowed. A place where hearing the other side isn't automatically mean you've surrendered. A place where you can actually try to understand what's going on before we lose our minds over it. Because I really believe most people are not as far apart as the internet makes it seem. I really believe that. I think the extremes are louder than everybody else, but I don't think they represent everybody else. I think most people still have some common sense left. And I think most people still know that not every issue is black and white. I think most people know there's a difference between truth and performance. I think most people are still capable of hearing something they don't agree with without acting like it's the end of the world. I mean, at least I hope. Because if not, I mean, we're in worse shape than I thought, But I don't think that's where we are. I think people are just tired. I mean, they're tired of being talked at. They're tired of being manipulated. They're tired of being told, what they're supposed to think before they've had a chance to think about it for themselves. And if you're one of those people, then that's who this channel's for. If you're tired of the noise, hopefully this is for you. If you're tired of every topic turning into a circus, hopefully this is for you. If you feel like everybody can say anything honest without it turning into a full-blown war, this is for you. And if you're willing, to hear things out, think for yourself, and have a conversation, then you're exactly who I want to build this around. So that's what echo chambered means to me. Not staying stuck in the echo, not living your life inside some script somebody else handed to you, not confusing repetition with truth, not confusing outrage with, intelligence. Step back, look at things clearly, and decide for yourself. I mean, that's it. That's the channel. That's the overall idea. And I hope I start saying more of this. So this is Echo Chambered, and if you're looking for more noise, it's probably not the place. Or maybe it is. Who knows? I might get riled up over certain topics. But if you're looking for real conversations and real thoughts, stick around. This might be for you.